Hello everyone, GoldenNova here, and we've done it again! Another 100 subscriber milestone. Like, that's wild to me. The time between 100 and 200 subscribers was around 5 months, but this time it was only a little more than 1. Thank you all so much, from the people who've joined in since 200, to all of the people who stuck with me from beforehand. You all give me the strength to keep on going, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So, as per tradition, it's time for another subscriber special, presenting GoldenNova's top 10 monsters with 300 attack points. But first, some housekeeping. To keep this video compliant with the rules and regulations laid out by the Online Opinions Protection Services, OOPS requires me to preface any top 10 video with the disclaimer that the content, and the sequencing thereof, is based solely on my own opinion. While power level and historical context do play a part in said opinion, it'll be graded alongside other ephemeral qualities, like silliness, coolness, and how quickly it takes them to recite the periodic table backwards to the tune of Sweet Home Alabama. Second, quick reminder to please subscribe and like if you've enjoyed my content so far. These videos are a celebration of how far we've come, and there's still a long way to go yet. Anything you can do to help, including sharing if you know anyone who might get a chuckle out of this list, is one step closer to me reaching my dream of doing this full time, which means more fun videos for all of you. Thank you all very much for your help. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the list. Honorable mention, Neospatian Glomos. Neospatians have got to be the archetype with some of the best support cards in the game, propping up the, and I say this with love, most disjointed, ineffective monsters I've ever seen. Sure, Aqua Dolphin and Grand Mole are pretty good, but the rest fall off in playability pretty quickly. I mean, would you like your deck to have a Destiny draw that's also a Foolish Burial? Maybe a tour guide that can also tribute itself for a Reborn effect. How about a Shaddoll Fusion? All of these are fantastic, and it's in service of gaining attack based on how many spells and traps your opponent controls, and gaining life points based on how many cards are in your opponent's hand. But the derpiest, the one that's worst in the most unique way, and is thus my favorite, is Neospatian Glomos. Its effect means that it won't see play in anything except the most dedicated of Neospatian builds, but it's cute, and it looks like those little forest sprites from Princess Mononoke, so that's enough for me. Number 10. Linkuriboh. Kuriboh has been a staple of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since the very beginning. In the anime, Kuriboh usually represents the idea that even small monsters with weak stats and appearances can have a huge impact on your game plan, and shouldn't be underestimated. In the game proper, they usually represent opportunities for fun deck building, but not much else. There have been some competitive Kuribohs, and I was looking to use Rainbow Kuriboh for this slot, having had fond memories of running it in the early days of Shaddolls, as a way to stabilize the game in case things went south, but fun fact, it's one of 2 Kuribohs that don't have 300 attack. Sphere Kuriboh is another choice, but its relevance is restricted to Duel Links and Speed Duels. If I played more of those, it might have a chance, but as it stands now, the spot has to go to Linkuriboh. While its effect doesn't progress any game plan on its own, the fact that it's a Link 1 that enables important play sequences for decks involving level 1 monsters has made it a card played in extra decks the world over. Grandpa's deck doesn't have any pathetic cards, but almost 2 decades of card design have shown just how far this friendly fuzzball can go. Number 9. Skull Servant. No, I'm not just including this because it lets me link my April Fool's ASMR video. It's also another cultural staple in the game. Not only has it led to the creation of a whole pseudo-Skull Servant archetype that can normal summon potentially one of the strongest monsters in the game, it's been referenced on card, after card, after card, after card, after card, after card, after card. I don't know if it was the community latching on to one of the weakest monsters ever printed, or the development team thinking it would be funny to have it as a recurring character, but in a sea of competition, Skull Servant has become one of the few normal monsters to escape absolute obscurity, and I feel like that counts for a lot. In a way, its flavor text is rather fitting. It isn't strong, but with all the printed support it got, it really is trouble in large numbers. Number 8. Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. One of the things I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Can work on the most is exploring mechanics. Link monsters are a step in the right direction, trying to make column play matter, but I don't feel like it did anything to recontextualize the experience, just tied new effects to certain conditions. One of the coolest things is when monsters can be treated as spells, kind of like when plunder patrols become equipped to the patrol ships to give them better effects, kind of like they're actually piloting them. But the archetype that set that all in motion was Crystal Beasts. When destroyed, these crystal critters turn into gems that help augment the power of your other cards, and the one that helps bring out their shine the most is Ruby Carbuncle. Whether being special summoned by Crystal Beacon or Promise, Carbuncle can swarm the field with Crystal Beasts, giving you the material for Xyz and Link summons to take over the game. And also, the most important part, look at how cute they are! They got that big jewel tail and the little paws and an adorable kitty face and the 4 big fluffy ears and oh, I wanna cuddle it! NumberSeven, Sea Archiver. With the advent of Link monsters and Master Rule 4, other monster card types needed help keeping pace, and Cybers monsters were more than happy to help. One such superb seahorse is Sea Archiver, a popular tech choice for decks utilizing rank 3 monsters. Archiver's ability to revive itself when you summoned to a linked zone made extending plays that much easier, especially before the recent Master Rule revision. While it would be banished if it left the field after being summoned by its own effect, the rules governing Xyz monsters made Sea Archiver an excellent support monster that could be revived from the grave turn after turn with no drawbacks. When your opponent sees that you have this available, they'll know you aren't seahorsing around. NumberSix, Crane. Man, another support card for rank 3 Xyz decks. My Burning Abyss bias is showing. But it's hard to deny how powerful the deck was in its prime. Powerful options like Dante and Nightmare Shark, being paired with effects from detached material, made for frightening combos, and ways to summon them out quickly and efficiently were at a premium. While Tour Guide is the premier rank 3 enabler, it couldn't help with recycling materials, and that's where Crane comes in. Effectively acting as extra copies of Tour Guide in later turns, this monster helped construct your field over more turns so you could continue to bring the pain. And as a bonus, it really helps in plant decks, because it's actually a legit Xyz material for Millier of the Trees. Yeah, this non-plant is better at summoning this plant support monster than most other actual plant monsters. Can you believe this shit? NumberFive, the White Stone of Legend. If I told you that this card had some of the most broken card design in the game, would you believe me? Sure, being able to search a level 8 vanilla seems pretty innocuous, but that's the danger of it. Being in the same design family as Burning Abyss, Whitestone triggers when it's sent to the grave from anywhere. You can Foolish it from the deck, link it away for Link Haribo, discard it with Cards of Continence. Anything you do to get it into the grave has a free add a card from your deck to your hand attached to it. This, in turn, enables every direct Blue Eye support you may have, from Alternative Dragon to Trade-In. And it's not even once per turn. It's so good at just generating you card advantage that it's arguably the backbone of the old Royal Magical Library Exodia Turbo decks, giving you the fuel you need to activate both of the previously mentioned draw spells. My only question right now is, if it's a stone, why is it typed as a dragon? Number 4, Traptrix Rafflesia. Hat format. When tempo was law, and traps were the only thing keeping you from an X3 record. While the deck has met its end, fragments of its influence remain with us till this day. Artifact Scythe is still an outstanding way to keep your opponent off their extra deck, and Traptrix continue to be a solid choice for anyone looking to spring surprises on their opponent at the worst time. And even if you don't play the theme proper, you can still get a taste for their power by using Traptrix Rafflesia. Its generic rank 4 materials means it can be run in a wide variety of decks, and its immunity to traps makes it great at resisting interruption like Infinite Impermanence and Lost Winds. But its ability to mimic any whole normal trap in your deck is by far its most terrifying ability. And since Hole is one of those legacy archetypes that's always going to be getting support from time to time, it's a card that will only get stronger and stronger as time goes on. I'm looking at you, Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Number 3, Rescue Cat. Speaking of long-running archetypes, the Rescue series is always something to be wary of. All their effects are prime examples of having to watch what you introduce into your card pool, because just the right combination could lead to any of these being extremely powerful starters. While it was tough to narrow it down to just one, I had to go with the one that started it all, Rescue Cat. Hamster never got its time in the spotlight, and Ferret is usually only tapped to extend long, Link-centric combos. And while Rescue Rabbit is arguably the more powerful option, having been a main component in the old Dino Rabbit decks, Rescue Cat brought to life decks like Gladiator Beasts and X-Sabers. And while Cat only worked for very specific beasts, if the deck was built around it, it was much less likely to brick than its Easter-themed counterpart. It may not be perfect, but it does a colossum job. Number 2. Chirrut, Strategist of the Necros. I still find it hard to believe that Rituals ever ran an entire format at one time. Not only did they frontline it, they still stand as one of the best decks ever put to print at their prime. And one of the major enablers for the deck was Chirrut. Not only did it make Necros ritual summons super easy by being a one-size-fits-all tribute for any summon, it also searched you a Warrior Necros ritual monster when you did so, which might as well have read, add any Necros card from your deck to your hand, considering this effect searched Colossalus and Brionac. And let's not forget the format warping Necros of Trishula. This power not only made for a cool strategy that gave you access to basically your entire deck in the course of your plays, but was an easy way to put your opponent's chances of victory on ice. Number 1. Linkcross just recently dropped an Eternity Code, and it's probably one of the best token generators in the game to date. Essentially, you can link climb into several monsters, using their effects on the way, then turn it into Linkcross, getting back all the advantage you spent on those Link monsters in the form of tokens that can be used for a variety of game plans. And it's really funny to see how coveted this effect is, because I remember the days when tokens were an absolute joke. None of them had stats worth considering, and no effects or game mechanics used them to widespread success. But there was one exception that made tokens something to be feared. It was so good at it, in fact, that it's banned to this day. So good that it was integral to the success of old plant synchro builds. That card is Dandelion. Do you remember earlier how I said White Stone of Legends was broken? Well, that design sensibility applies here. Dandelion generates 2 tokens for you anytime it's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, and it's not once per turn. The only restriction was that the tokens couldn't be used for tribute summons the turn they were special summoned. But if you're looking to synchro summon, having 2 free levels to work with did a lot for your combo lines. Even Monarch decks enjoyed using this card. They only needed 1 token to survive for tribute purposes, so one set Dandelion acted as an effective blocker to stall out for their win condition. It's so powerful, in fact, that I'm convinced that it can never come off the ban list in its current form, because every deck ever is just going to run it for easy link fodder. It's for this reason that I'm proud to announce that Dandelion is the absolute best monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! With 300 attack. And that's the list. A big thank you to everyone once again for helping me get this far. It means so much to me, and I can't wait to try out new things for you all to see. Do you have any monsters you feel should have made the cut? And is there anything that you want to see on the channel in the future? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed, please make sure to like the video. If you're new here, then hello! Thank you for stopping by. My takes are usually this silly, so if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing for more. Also, I've got a Twitter, so if you want to keep up with any updates, or want a few random retweets about how important unionizing is, thank you Spice8Rack, give it a follow. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.